Welcome, fans of the Grim, the Dark, and the Future. Welcome to our next podcast episode. This time we will do our first faction focus, and we start with the Prime Brothers. And with me are Engin and Johannes. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
And of course, as always, our host, Patrick.
Hi. So, before we start with the first faction we want to talk about in detail, I thought maybe we can read the comments of the last episode because there were some interesting ones. So we have Saboth, if I pronounce it correctly. Last episode we talked about maybe leaving one or two models per unit alive just to clock the activations of the enemy, and he does it too. He says it's a great way to keep the initiative, especially in the last two turns where you really need to go first. So yeah, this is thank you for your opinion. So it shows that maybe it also changes during the game if you want to leave the enemy models alive or not.
I think so. I will try it definitely in our next game tomorrow. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, we will see. Then we have a comment from Rafael RK, who seems to be a regular viewer or listener. He has an idea for a podcast, maybe tough versus multi-wound units. Multi-model units. Tough versus multi-model units. Yeah, we can do this sometime. It's not on our priority list now, but we could do it.
Yeah, but I think it will come up today also when we talk about the Prime Brothers, probably.
Yes. Then we have Yak, SIPCC. I don't know how to pronounce those. He said it's been a long time since he played Grimdark Future, version 1.98 or something. So yeah, he's happy to see people talking about it to bring him back into the game. You're welcome. We have Blue Echo 4. This discussion of ambush is very relevant to me as he's playing Wormhole, Rift, Demons of Change. So he asks how many units you start an ambush versus how many units scout ahead. So, Engin, as you're playing demons?
It's a very good question. So I think the majority of my units will start scouting, but I will start with more units in ambush than I do in other armies. That's just a very general comment, but we can go into detail when we talk about the Wormhole demons.
But you start with some board presence.
Yes, always use it.
I think it's dependent on what demons you play too.
Yeah, maybe yes.
It's a big difference between plague demons and change demons, for example.
Yeah. So we have Nicolas Kertes, and he asks us if we are considering to include our videos. For the time being, no, because our webcams are shitty, and you won't get much out of this. So
no, don't want to see our faces all the time. Just watch the battle reports. Then you see some nice miniatures every now and then who we are.
Yeah.
But just to look for an hour in our faces, I don't think anybody can do that. Maybe our wives or so.
Also, most of the time we are naked, so I don't know if this violates the YouTube regulations. So let's better not do it.
Well, can't see mine, it's so tiny.
Okay, then we have Param. It's nice to see you here.
Oh, yeah.
He's the community and production manager at Onepagerules. So welcome to be our regular listener too.
Nice to know that some officials are listening to our podcast and our thoughts.
Yeah. So, and then we had a long comment from Bob Duckington. I'm not going to read it because it's long. But what we can take from this, he wishes more meat to the bone when we're talking about shits. And I think today we're going to deliver because we're talking in detail about Prime Brothers. So that's it for the recent comments. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you on that.
Also, yeah,
Always appreciate that.
just a short note. We got a lot of questions. No, apparently it was just two, to be honest, of people that wanted to support us somehow. And we set up a Buy Me a Coffee. You can find the link everywhere, even in the video description, where you can just donate us $1 for a coffee. It's no subscription. It's nothing reoccurring. Just $1. If you think we sound tired, just
Can it buy me an energy drink too?
no, just coffee.
Oh, just coffee. Okay.
Oh no, apparently, so you can set up a wish list, and people can donate specifically for the wish list. And I put 2 microphones for you guys, so you have the same
So you removed
quality one as I have.
Okay.
I will put energy drinks on the wish list, so they
Yeah,
can
but
buy
remove
you.
the big black. Yeah, just say it.
Okay. Yeah, I will put some energy drinks on the wish list. You shouldn't feel obligated to give us money or something. We're doing this happily for free. We just have some expenses. If you want to be part of it and donate something, you're very welcome to do so. So thank you in advance.
It's nice that some people are interested in our thoughts, and we are happy also about your feedback, so we can learn from you guys too.
Okay, so let's start with the Prime Brothers. So Engin, you prepared.
Maybe first tell why we are talking about Prime Brothers.
Yeah. So we were always thinking about this faction focus, and the idea was, let's start with one of them. And Prime Brothers is kind of an army all three of us had played before in some variations. So we all three should be able to tell something, have some opinion about that. And probably there are also quite some Prime Brother players out there.
Yeah.
So that was the idea to talk about them.
Yeah, so maybe we should mention, just to catch everyone's attention, Prime Brothers are heavily inspired by Games Workshop's new-ish Space Marines range, the Primaris Space Marines. And if you happen to have some, Onepagerules gives you the opportunity to use all your models, more or less. So this is where they come from.
Everyone has some flying around.
Yeah, exactly. Since 8th edition, so yeah, you can play all of them in Grimdark Future.
And in preparation for today's episode, I've the first time read the background about the Prime Brothers too. I don't know if you guys ever did that, but
of course we did.
Yeah, I have 2 daughters.
Yeah.
I have no time at all.
Okay, so just to keep it short, the Humanity Extended, I think it's the Humanity, I have to double check, yeah, and they invented the Battle Brothers first as the gene-modified super warriors, but when they extended even further, they needed stronger troops, and that are the Prime Brothers. What's specific about the Prime Brothers, which you kind of find in their army list, is that the Prime Brothers, at some point, their bodies start to fail and their enhancement. So they have a shortened lifespan compared to the Battle Brothers or normal humans, as I understood. And that's why they tend to be more heroic and less veteran-like. So that's probably also the case why certain rules you have at the Battle Brothers you can't find at the Prime Brothers.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that too. Like, for example, veteran.
They have that, interestingly, that rule. But maybe there we already go into the specific, the rules on the Prime Captain regarding the movement special rule. But yeah. How should we start? What do you say? Let's first talk about the pros and cons of the Prime
the
Brother.
general strength and weaknesses.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess one of the major strengths is defense 2+.
Yes.
Which have almost everyone except for the raider and infiltration squads. Yeah, but makes them very
And
sturdy.
how are they
Oh yeah,
called?
elimination squad too.
Elimination Squad, yeah.
Yeah, but they have stealth. So, but nevertheless, they are very sturdy, hard to shift. Because of that, but they pay a major price in points cost, of course.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
another upside is, of course, quality 3+ overall, except for the aforementioned Raider and Infiltration Squad, and everyone's fearless, so they are probably not going to be pinned very much.
Yeah. So when it comes to morale, you most of the time have a 2-up roll for this. Yeah, but on the other hand, it comes with a heavy price tax because you pay for fearless, you pay for quality, you pay for defense. So I think there we come to the weakness. It's expensive, also compared to cheap units, cheap models from other armies. Um, Special weapons with special rules are not as effective points wise. Like if you aim for rending, if you aim for poison, if you aim for, where you're going to, I do a lot
Sniper.
of shots and I want to achieve sixes, then
No.
you just pay a lot more to achieve this 6-up.
Yeah. So that's also my impression. And besides the infantry being very durable, also their vehicles are very very durable compared to other armies. I don't think no, they don't have any vehicle with just tough 6. It's at least
Mm-hmm.
tough 9 they start with. So of course it
The
costs
Prime ATV, actually.
no, it's 9.
The Prime ATV.
The
It's a quad
ATV. Sorry,
bike.
not the
Yeah.
APC. Yeah, exactly that one. Okay, this small one. But generally they are quite tough.
Mm-hmm.
So infantry wise and compared with the fearless rule and the high quality, as you said, it's hard to pin them down. Their board presence isn't going away that far, except you really invest in removing certain units.
Yeah. If your enemy knows that you're playing Prime Brothers, they can do things to more or less counter it, like bring in a lot of rending because they expect 2-up on all your models. So, yeah.
Yeah, rending is really a problem for them. You can give certain units medical training to give them regeneration, but yeah, as we know, rending cancels that too.
Yeah.
So if somebody really is dedicated against your army, then
Yeah.
rending, as an example, can be very, very tough for the infantry part of
Yeah.
it.
Or generally playing rending heavy list, then most probably it's tough if you field Prime Brothers because it's a pretty good counter against both regeneration and 2-up defense.
And
Yeah.
another thing is, for their points cost, they don't bring that much offense. Of course, they can put out a lot of good shots, but for example, the normal standard Prime Brothers, they are like 200 points roughly,
Yeah,
and they can shoot.
185.
Yeah, 185, but I probably would equip them with auto rifles. They can shoot that much damage, like for example, cheaper squads who have less defense but have the same amount of damage output like they do. So for 200 points, you get roughly double the amount of shots, and if you swarm the Prime Brothers with a lot of units, like Orcs can do, Tyranids can do, the Human Defense Force can do, they can struggle to destroy the opponent squads, maybe, if you really swarm them heavy. Although in our games it doesn't come up that much often because we don't play much swarming armies, but it can be a problem for them, I think, depending on what they chose to field.
Yes, I agree.
They are kind of going a bit, I would say, in the direction like the how it's called high elves, where you have certain the higher fleets certain specific units really with dedicated weapons. So of course you have some, and that's how I see it with the Prime Brothers, or we will see it maybe later also in the list. You have kind of dedicated purposes. As you said, you have the Prime Brothers. I think they are for the Prime Brother faction relatively cheap and relatively durable, so they kind of establish your board presence. And then you have dedicated units. It might be the blaster units or the heavy Prime Brother squad or something, which can kind of put out dedicated damage against certain units, because they are always mostly have to have the same weapon
Yes.
outfit. And so it's really that every unit kind of has its specific task. That's kind of, I got the feeling when I built the list for later on this time.
Yeah. And this is strong, I would say. Like,
Yeah.
specifically dedicated units are more effective than all-round units. I see this with maybe, let's not go too far into this, but maybe like a Knight Brothers. And if you put tough or strong melee weapons, and you also have strong ranged weapons, you pay double, but when you activate, you can just use one of them. So, yeah.
But what we didn't talk yet about is also kind of, durable. So as I said, it's like Elven Fleet, where you have the specific units for specific tasks, but they are all much more durable than an Elven Fleet. So that's
Yeah.
always, you pay always this price additionally to be durable. So let's not forget that. And also, on the other hand, what do you think? So I think at Games Workshop it's that way, and I think it's similar here. You can say the Prime Brothers is an kind of all-round army. You can build them specifically for melee combat. You can build them as shooting or something in between. It's not that they go into by their army itself very much into one direction. So if
Yeah.
it's a very how it's called, multi-tool uh, army to play,
Yeah.
and you have to adapt kind of also to the enemy you are playing.
Totally agree.
Yeah. Also, I would say it's beginner friendly because building lists is not that tough. Because, as you said, every unit has its specific task. Also, because they're a bit more expensive because of high quality, high defense, you don't have to paint so much models to get your points. So it all contributes to
Yeah.
the beginner friendliness.
And
Also,
they are forgiving in positioning because they are so durable.
yes, yes. Also, models are pretty much available because
Yeah.
yeah.
True. That's also
I for myself think they're very great models. I like them very much.
Yeah, me too. One or two exceptions, but the
Yeah.
general model range is great. I wanted to go to the next step and maybe ask for your favorite unit and your least favorite unit. So maybe each of us can give one or two opinions and we can discuss them. So who
Okay.
wants to start with the most favorite and the least favorite unit, or two if there's two?
Yeah.
So what about, yeah, Johannes, maybe.
Okay, so I'm going to start.
Yes.
I think I have like two favorite units,
Mhm.
maybe. One of them has to be the anti-grav APC,
Okay.
which is a transport vehicle for them. I really like that a lot. It's very expensive, like we said before, but it has tough 9, and a lot of normally transports suffer from having toughness 6 because they are
Yes.
deadly 6 weapons who can one-shot them, or even 2 shots with deadly 3 can one-shot them, and then they are pinned and everything.
Mhm.
But these don't have that. They have tough 9, so they are hard to destroy.
Mhm.
And you can give them stealth in addition to reduce the damage they can be dealt to. Yeah, they are fast, so that's of course the purpose to deliver something.
And
And
inbuilt Strider already, which is great
and
for a transport.
yes, Strider, because of the like flying aspect they have. And you still can do some damage with them. I would normally equip them with a twin AAMG, which gives the twin storm rifle and the heavy machine gun, which is like in total 9 shots with AP1 on at least 24 inches range, which is most of the time the whole board, because at least the boards we play.
Yes.
But it's a long enough range to deal with some smaller units or to chip some damage. And they have impact 6, like almost every vehicle, to go forward and block some passes, to charge some weaker enemies, and to contest objectives, something like that.
When you give them twin storm rifle, which is 5 points, and heavy machine gun, which is 40 points, do you also go for the shield projector, which gives stealth? Or is it like you go for one over the other?
No, I would do everything. I know they are like 430 points then, which is
exactly
a lot, but nevertheless, they are harder to destroy with it, and still can do a lot of multi-purpose things.
Yeah.
Just a great unit overall.
Yeah, and Transport 11 means like a 5-man squad with a hero and another 5-man squad, so it gives you a lot of usability.
Yeah, and the other unit I like a lot is the Attack Walker, just because
before we switch there, let me give my opinion about
oh
the
yeah, of course.
so,
no, not you.
But no, just as an additional thought. But I completely agree with you. I really like the APC too, very much. As you said, it kind of negates a lot of this tough 6 problem. You get hit by one heavy fusion rifle or something, and then it inside is pinned and so on. It's very nice. The automatic Strider is also always useful, but to be honest, I sometimes tend to nowadays try to keep the transport relatively cheap. So I would really think about giving them the shield projector. So also at Human Defense Force, I nowadays try to don't always take stealth. It's a nice benefit, but if you give it too many units and so on, it can be quite costly. So I go in that direction. I think 335 points is already at a very good spot. So it's normally at some other units you have to have the very cheap transport, which kind of blows up very quickly, or a very expensive transport, which is already 600 points or something like that. Like the heavy tank, the APC is nicely in the lower middle of that one, and I would leave it kind of like that.
Yeah, it's not auto include. I think if you have the points, you can upgrade it. But if I'm missing points for like another unit, like 50 points or something like this, I would probably skip the heavy machine gun, which is 2, and leave it like that. It's not necessary to upgrade it. But if you upgrade it, I would give most of the time this equipment.
Yeah.
And like I said, the other unit is the Attack Walker, because the model is very awesome, and it's like another multi-purpose unit. It's hard to shift with stuff 15. You can almost equip it like you want, depending on what you wanted to do. If you are like missing something heavy anti-elite units, is the heavy plasma cannon with the blast 6 AP4 to probably counter other Prime Brothers. It's the best weapon against anti-Prime Brothers, I guess. But for multi-purpose, maybe the Gatling cannon, which makes it 24 shots without AP, but you don't need AP if you have that lot of shots.
24
you
shots?
Can,
How do you...
you can replace any Walker Claw, but you have two
you
Walker
can
Claws.
replace both. I see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can replace both. And it's still good in melee because of the stomp.
Yeah, but you can't build an anti-tank attack walker, isn't it?
That's true. You can't really build it. Not that good. You can give it a chest fuser with AP4 Deadly 3, or a melee upgrade like a Walker Fist. You have no Deadly, but you have a lot of hits with AP3. It's true. You can't equip it exactly to counter vehicle units, but even 24 shots without AP against the vehicle will still chip some damage against it, especially with quality 3. So you have like 18 hits against it, if it's not in cover or stealth, which still means like 3-4 wounds. It can still do some damage against some.
Yeah, but for that many points, the attack walker, I wouldn't say it's really, you can really, it's not that useful against vehicles.
It's not that useful against vehicles. Still, you can shoot at it. It wouldn't be my priority. But if you're missing, if you're falling short for deadly weapons because you didn't have that many, or you failed to hit some, and you desperately need that tank to go down, and with the 3 hit wounds left, you can still manage to kill it with it. Of course, it's more equipped against infantry.
Yeah, it's not. I see your points. I see your arguments, but for me, it's not convincing. I think it's pretty expensive for not the great damage output. I mean, okay. Let's put it the other way around. For the regular Battle Brothers, not for the Prime Brothers, I like the Attack Walkers more because of the weapon options, like the laser cannon, like the missile launcher lock on thingy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's true. But since we're talking about Prime Brothers,
yeah, just
yeah,
it wouldn't be my. I agree on the anti-grav APC. It's great, but I wouldn't put Attack Walker in my favorites.
yeah, it's not the best unit, but I like the unit. It's
Yeah,
I like walkers in general, and it looks very awesome, especially with the plasma cannon. Although it may be not the best equipped option.
yeah, it's just
But
one shot.
that's a good argument. That's I can completely agree.
Yeah, if you just like it, you like
Yeah,
it.
I just like it. It's not the best unit, but I like it.
Also, as you said, tough 15.
Exactly.
It's something.
It's something standing on the battlefield and won't be removed that easily. Exactly.
You
For that points, so for 400 something points, it's quite durable. So
you're not going to move it easily.
Yeah. But anything you would say is a no-go for you on the unit wise?
I think
nothing.
Then turret. No, actually, I don't like the support turret because it's immobile. Yeah, it's maybe it can deal some damage, but I don't really like it.
So yeah, it could be, but I have to check that one. I didn't look into that too much, but I just today realized it's 175 points. To be honest, in immobile, how many wounds is it? It's
tough 6.
Tough 6. Yeah. I don't know.
Honestly, I only see one use case for this, and if it's if you have an objective which reaches into your deployment zone and you put the support turret on it, the only use case, honestly, for me.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why I don't really like it.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah.
So, what about yours?
Yeah, Engin, what about your favorite and least favorite units?
Absolutely favorite unit, and you will see it also on the list. For me, it are the heavy Prime Brothers. I really like them. I think for, let's say, 300 points, I know it's elite infantry. We talked last time about the problems with that, but
Mhm.
it's defense 3, and compared to kind of the regular Prime Brothers, even if
Tough,
you use
tough
it.
3, you mean, and defense 2 up.
Sorry, yes,
Yeah,
tough 3 and defense 2 up, and compared to kind of the regular Prime Brothers, these really can put out some damage. So
oh
I
yes.
think so for 300 points. So I think it's 12 shots, AP1. You can kind of adapt to your needs a bit more, but I think it's a compact output, anti-infantry output unit, and combining it with a Prime Master, you can adapt it even further if they shoot better or have more AP. So
Yeah, I have to correct you on this. They have 12 shots, but it's without AP. Or
yeah, I
if
was
you
thinking about.
upgrade, if you upgrade, they have 10 shots with AP1, combining the Grave heavy machine gun with the Grave heavy rifle. But I agree,
Yeah,
it's
true.
pretty nice. 10
Yeah.
shots AP1, yeah.
Completely correct. So I did that wrong. Yeah, but I like, as always, we talked about that a lot at Prime, about the Prime Breath. I like the models. I like this chunkiness about them, and
Yeah,
it's focused damage and not too many points about that. What do you think?
I agree. I agree. I would have used them too already, but I'm just lacking the models and I have other priorities. But I agree. I would use them too, just like this.
I really like them too. What do you think about the sniper option, Engin?
I think it was missing the AP. That was my biggest problem with that one. Let me check.
Missing AP, but it's one of the few snipers that has 2 attacks.
Yeah, and I think most of the snipers don't have AP, maybe AP1,
AP1.
but depends on what you are want to do with it. If you are targeting heroes without AP, it's maybe not enough. But if you're targeting special weapons or other special equipped
So
models, it may be a bit overkill even.
exactly, it's because you know the rule when you shoot with one certain type of weapon, you have to dedicate all the shots to one target. So if you shoot with all the 6 shots, that would be maybe too much for one model, because you're specifically also picking one model, not one model type or so. If there are 2 heavy weapons in the enemy squad, you would
Yeah.
still shoot at one of the models with 6
Yeah.
shots. So you really
Yeah,
have to dedicate that to a hero, or maybe just take, because you can replace any, just take 1 or 2 rifles if you want.
This would be an option, like taking 2 precision rifles to shoot at special weapon models or heavy weapon models, and take the Grave heavy machine gun just for general damage to infantry squads. This could work.
yeah, depending on what you're facing. Well,
Yeah.
for example, if you're facing Prime Brothers, 4 or 5 hits may not be enough for a model
Yeah.
to kill,
Yeah.
since it's had defense 2+.
Exactly. But I would then, as I said, I also often try to combine them with the Prime Master. In that case, I would use the Lieutenant option to give them 1 AP. That makes
AP1.
also a lot of difference already.
Yeah,
But even then, it would be maybe worth more taking Grave heavy rifle 2 times, Grave heavy machine gun once, and then having 10 shots at AP2
yeah. Well, I
with the
probably
lieutenant
would
rule.
skip the Grave Heavy Machine Gun,
Why?
because you pay 20 points for 1 additional shot. I don't.
Exactly. That's why I always kind of, if I don't have the points, just stick with the
Yeah,
normal heavy.
I would stick with the Normie. 20 points for 1 additional shot is not that great. I would.
Yeah, but you are removing the casualties, so this is the one who stays the longest. Like, even if one model dies, you're just losing 3 shots out of 10. But yeah, it's debatable. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
it's debatable, but I think I like them overall too. They
Yeah.
wouldn't be probably my favorite. It's not that I when I think about primers, I wouldn't think about heavy primers. I would probably prefer for the masses like the Prime Brothers or Infiltration or squads or something like this. And for the more multi-purpose things, and for the chunkier stuff, I would go to the maybe aggro squad or the eradication squad or something like this.
Yeah. Okay, but we agree they are playable.
Yeah,
they're
pretty
good,
cool. But
yeah.
I would
So for
normally
me,
prefer other stuff.
it's relatively long range, or normal range, kind of anti-infantry, a solid damage output option. And then we come kind of to my second choice as my favorite units, and that's definitely because of the board presence. And to have a cheap unit, I like the normal Prime Brothers, really. And I prefer them over the Infiltrator Squad, even, I would have to say. So thinking about that, Infiltrator Squad is 40 points cheaper and has Scout, definitely. But I think this 2-up defense is really solid. And they also have some solid damage output with... so not solid, but it's kind of... You can... rely upon the 5 3+ shots with AP1, I think.
Yes, especially quality 3-up. It's AP1
and
is
fearless.
Yeah.
So it's a solid board presence unit. So nothing funky or very special about it, but I think it's a very reliable unit for relatively cheap points. So that's my second go-to unit within the whole Prime Brothers.
And to add something, it's not much. But we forgot about the Prime Brothers pros, that they all have at least 2 attacks, which is...
Yes.
It could come in handy for specific situations, but it's something you should keep in the back of your head. Like even 5 regular Prime Brothers that are one of your favorite units, I mean, even those have just 10 attacks. So if there's something left on the board, you can just, rush into them and hope for them to fail morale or something. I mean, 10 attacks.
And exactly, they are not that easy to pick off by kind of some ambush units, exceptly they are super elite or something and specifically dedicated about that. But like something drops in behind them, it's hard to get through this 2+ defense, and then you are facing a 6 to 8 attacks returning from the Prime Brothers that can really hurt. And so I think it's not a dedicated close combat unit, but for something to be on the board, they are still kind of a small danger.
Yeah, but I have to disagree on this. Yeah, it's true that they have 2 attacks. It can be chunky. It can be maybe dangerous. No, not really dangerous. If you drop ambush troops behind them, they are normally dedicated to such stuff. So they are either very melee heavy and will squash them, or they are not melee heavy but shooting ambushers. And for this special case, it may be worth it. But you're paying the cost every time you play them, and every Battle Brother has to have this attack, and you still pay the cost.
Yeah, but it's not expensive. It's not expensive. I have to check on the points calculator, but I think
maybe not expensive.
Not a lot, like 1 point or 2. It's nothing. I have to check.
But for the whole army, it could be. There's really rarely the case where you need these additional 2 attacks for one squad. But for the points you pay for it, you could maybe add in another equipment or maybe even another unit, depending on how expensive it is or how many models you're fielding. So I think I would skip it if I could.
So I understand your comment, but as I said, my experience so far was rushing into any Prime Brother unit with something just to make some damage of them. You have to think about twice if you really can hurt them or get damaged yourself.
Yeah,
That
but
was my
normally you
experience.
have dedicated melee units who you are charging with, and they should be able to deal with them
Yeah, but even
depending on what you are playing.
yeah,
Yeah.
but even if you kind of like a shadow hunter, you go into that unit and um, it's not that elite always as the Prime Brothers are. Okay, that probably has a 3+ quality if I remember correctly, but even there you can fail your 4 attacks or so, and then if you don't kill specific Marines, then they hit you back and you have only a 4+ defense yourself. They can just kill you. So your dedicated shadow hunter can horribly fail against them. And there is this option where when I attack a unit of whatever human defense force at some back line that have very nice range weapons, I don't fear that because they can't really hit you back.
Also, you have to factor in how melee works in one-page rules in general. It's pretty deadly because, when you're below half unit strength and you lose the morale check, you lose the whole unit. And I just checked for the price of the weapon base cost. It's range times attacks times special. So special they don't have AP, don't have any rule. It's 2 attacks, and the range cost is 0.25 points, which means per model you pay half a point. It's totally worth it.
Yeah, okay, that's not really much. That maybe that's true. If it's so cheap, yeah, then I would add it.
Yeah.
So, and coming to my least favorite unit, it's not used yet, but I compared it last time to the Battle Brothers also. That's the Prime Biker
Oh yeah.
squad. It's really sad they don't have any equipment options. So it's only 4 shots per model, 18-inch range, auto rifles, no AP there, and just 1 attack. No, not just one, and then additionally the heavy pistol and the close combat weapon, and 325 points. They probably have their use being fast and so on, but I still kind of didn't get very. I didn't really like the combination how they are.
Yeah. I I see your point there, but just to add something, I played around with them because I have some models. And what if you join in a hero and give him lieutenant and also a bike? So you have 4 bikes with 4 shots each, AP1, and their other weapons they have. And they're fast and tough. I
I
don't know.
actually
There's a use.
I
Yeah,
actually
that's
think
true.
they are kind of comparable to the Heavy Prime Brothers. They have like, if you leave the Heavy Prime Brothers, they
No,
have
the Prime Brothers are better. Sorry.
no, but
The
honestly,
models are cooler.
they have 12 shots with 18 inches without AP. It's the same for both of them, and they have an additional heavy pistols with 12 inches, 3 shots with AP1. Of course, they are more expensive. Yeah, like 60 points more expensive, but they are fast. And this is one thing about the Prime Brothers. They don't really have a lot of fast units. Actually,
Yeah, that's
they're
true.
only the tanks, and that's about it. Um, so I actually like the Prime Bikers. I didn't really give them much thought for now, but if I look over the stats,
Yeah,
I think
I have to agree with you guys. So probably I didn't think about them also using with a Prime Master.
Yes, Prime Master. And give him Lieutenant, then you have
Yeah,
16 shots, AP1,
yeah.
and
Then
fast. This is
this is
something.
solid.
Yeah.
Yes.
But expensive.
So expensive. Yeah, but I will. And the comment from Johannes, they are fast. It's a very good point in that army. So I will revoke my opinion about that. So Patrick,
Yeah, what should I say? So, what about the obvious one?
it should be.
Yeah.
Reaver
Prime
Squad?
Master?
So let's pick.
So yeah, the Suppression Squad, you mean?
Let's pick the Hover Squad
Hover Squad, yes.
because they just got a rework, and I don't know if they're strong or still my favorite or something, but I think the new suppressor cannons are very appealing to play. I want to play around with it. I want to use it. So suppressor cannons are now 24-inch range, 3 attacks each, AP2 and indirect. Also, this Hover Squad has relentless. So, if there's a 6, you shoot again. So I just want to use it.
Yeah, actually, that's pretty good point.
So it's maybe not my favorite. It will not be one of my favorites, but for now, it's super appealing to use them.
Yeah, I agree. I think they are not really expensive. They give the option of indirect, as you said, AP, nice, some shots, so not just one shot per model or so. And
Yeah.
I like it too.
So
Yeah.
nine shots, which means at least one relentless shot too. So you can calculate about 10 shots indirect.
Yes.
I don't see the big use of Strider there, but I think they just gave the Strider rule because of the models. They are on a flying base stand, they are hovering, so they just gave them Strider.
Yeah, makes
Yes.
sense. It's better to have Strider in there than pay the additional costs for fly.
Yes.
So keep it Strider.
Okay,
Oh.
and second favorite one, it's also, I didn't use them yet, but it's very appealing for me. It's the combination of a Raider squad and a Elite Raider. Because you can give the Elite Raider energy fists. There's one combination energy fist with 2 attacks and a fist pistol, and replace the other close combat weapons with an energy fist, which is 3 attacks. So you have 5 attacks AP4. And then this Elite Raider has Furious, which gives him another attack. And Furious is really strong if you have good melee weapons. So you're at 6 attacks with an energy fist, so AP4. And you can give him Judge, which gives him Watch Hunt for 10 points, which means when he rolls a 6 to hit, which is likely with 6 attacks, you get 2 extra attacks. So you have 8 attacks with energy fists, and I would honestly give him Orbital Drop to give him Ambush and combine with the Raider Squad. And they also can get 3 attacks energy fists, which means with Furious it's 4 attacks energy fist, which means with War Chant you have the chance of getting another hit. So those as an ambush drop squad, I think it could get one of my favorite units in the Prime Brothers range.
That's a very good point. I didn't know the combination yet, and I think it's really strong. And one of the rare cases of a hard-hitting hero.
Yes, really one of the rare cases. And it's just because of the combination that you can replace the close combat weapon and the heavy pistol for another close combat weapon, which is strong.
And overall, it's not that expensive. That's
Yes,
Yeah, it's quite cheap.
because of the low quality, low for the Prime Brothers low quality. Yeah, and I think I like it a lot.
yeah,
And
that's a good point. I really like that too. And
when I discovered it, I just happened to print 15 miniatures.
15 Elite Raiders. What?
No. For the Raider squad.
Yeah.
So to have 3 squads, but
Yeah.
it's very a one-sided list, so I'm not going to use all of them. But yeah, it's very appealing.
depending on how many points you can actually. I mean, you can only take 2 of the same, so you would have to
No,
make a
2 of the
combined.
same is when you play 1500 points. If
Oh,
you
the three of the same then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, I think I don't. actually don't know if it's if you combine a unit, does it count as 1 or 2?
One.
One.
Just
Okay, so you could take a 10-man squad of raiders and a 5-man squad of raiders.
Or you can take 30 raiders.
Yeah, but I wouldn't take 10 raiders because
Space issues.
space issues, and I think this this squad hero attached to a squad really shines because of the elite raider attacks.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it degrades like if you just put more raiders to it.
I mean the raiders itself, it's also nice how many attacks they have, but as you said, it's not always that easy with the 32 millimeter bases kind of to have all models within 6 inches of each other if you have 10 of these. So it that can cause difficulties also when ambushing. I would also keep them smaller. But
yeah, the thing, yeah. I remember when I was fighting with my not sure how they call it, but the Thunderwolf cavalry from the Wolf brothers. The one in the back couldn't fight because he couldn't get a range. So that was a problem for me. And if you have like 10 32 millimeter models, it's quite a good case that a few of those can fight depending on what small space you are fighting in. Okay, so another thing we forgot to talk about in the pros and cons, I think it could maybe be a con that normally if you attaching heroes to units, you probably want to attach it to a combined unit because the costs or the abilities from the heroes, you can make a best use of it if you have a lot of models in the unit to give a lot of units the buff, a lot of models the buffs. But in Prime Brothers, it's really hard, but because combined units with an additional hero attached are very, very expensive. They are like almost like a fourth of your whole army for one squad. That can be very dangerous. So normally you only attach a hero to a 5-man squad, which makes not the best use of the special rule from the hero, depending on what rule you're taking. If you're taking like an archivist for psychic or an engineer for repair, it's not really a problem. But for like a war chant, a battle ride, or precision shots.
But generally, I agree with you. But you can see it also that way that even the non-combined units of the Prime Brothers have so many attacks as normally other armies have when they have a combined squad. So you have both options here. You have the option of only taking a small units where already the hero brings in effect, and you can have a really killer squad if you use a combined squad with a hero. And that's kind of, for me, was always the exception, but it's possible to use a combined squad with the hero. So you have even more attacks.
It's a point, but nevertheless, I would feel the urge to make a combined squad with a hero, but would struggle because of the points.
Yeah, to get more effect out of this, and you feel like you're missing out on something because you didn't do it.
Yes.
Yeah, I get the feeling too. I had this when building lists sometimes. So what is left? Maybe one least favorite unit. I think a lot of them are very useful, but let's say I'm not very happy with the elimination squad. So coming to it, model-wise, I like the models a lot, like from Games Workshop so far. They are very cool. They have these camo cloaks. They have snipers. They have cool poses. So I would like to use them, but yeah. So it's just 3 models. It's defense 3 up, which is fine, I guess. But you're paying for quality 3 up, so you have the quality tags, but you won't use the quality as you're going to use the sniper rule, which makes you shoot at quality 2 up anyways. So it's a bit of a waste there. It's 185 points, so if you just buying them to put on an objective to keep it safe. You, for the same points, you could also buy a regular Prime Brothers squad, which brings in 5 wounds and 2 up defense and has a bit more damage output. So I don't see the point there. Also, yeah, you can upgrade them with the laser sniper rifle, which is not bad, but you're paying 70 points per weapon, and still you have just one shot. So you could kill a character if you hit, and if AP2 is enough. Sometimes it isn't. It's a hit or miss, but if you equip them with 3 of those sniper rifles, I don't know, it gets expensive. I'm just not very happy. I can't really put my finger on it, but I'm not very happy with this unit.
I kind of agree with you, and also definitely on the point that the models look great, and I will definitely use them.
Yeah.
but the only thing I was thinking, which kind of differentiates them from the Prime Brothers, is that they have this, I think, scout options, don't they?
Scout and stealth.
Scout and stealth. Okay, they don't have the 2+ armor, but you can kind of scout them ahead on a large board that might bring some benefit.
Yeah, it depends. So if I see the use case for them to put them somewhere stationary, let's say on a mission objective, they don't need to advance 12 inches. So why scout when I just want to put them in the backfield? So either I use scout or I want to keep them in the backfield. So I don't know. I feel like I'm paying for quality, I'm paying for scout, and I'm not really using it. So
yeah, I understand. Maybe as a flanking option for the weaker flank or something. That they stay in range, kind of threaten an objective in the mid or even backspace of the enemy, just as a thought process. But I get your point. So the AP is difficult with only 3 shots. I would probably put in 1 less rifle if I want to hunt a character. So 1 less rifle plus 2 snipers. You can even split that up. Shoot the last rifle on the character and the 2 normal rifles on some heavy weapon guy or something.
Yeah.
I agree with you, because I think they actually have a lot of contenders in their own army. Like the infiltration squad can have marksman carbines with snipers. The normal Prime Brothers can have precision rifles with snipers. And the infiltration squad even has scout 2. They have defense 3+2. They have quality 4+, so you're not taxing on it. I really like the models too from Games Workshop if you're using them for this. But for the rules wise, I don't like them either. I would probably take an infiltration squad with sniper or something like this and leave the elimination squad aside, because 3 models with def 3+, yeah, they have stealth, but nevertheless they die pretty fast and are very expensive for this.
So I want to like them, but I can't see me fielding them in this army list. So this is that for our favorite and least favorite units. And Engin, you have something prepared for us today.
So yeah, to bring some meat to the bone.
Yes.
The idea was to that one of us writes an army list and the others can complain and argue what's horrible about the list, but also what they like.
Yes.
So
I think you can maybe find the list in the description of the video below.
Also, I will put it in the video for everyone who's just not listening, but also watching the video. I will put it in now, so you can read along the list while we are talking about it.
But I will present it to you shortly, just as a quick overview, have an idea what's in there. So if it's okay for you.
Yes.
So the idea is to have an all-round list. So it's not specifically dedicated to close combat or shooting, even though it's more shooting heavy. I would say it's as an all-round list. So let's start from the top.
It's 2,000 points.
it's 2,000 points exactly, and of course not with any specific objectives in mind or so, or on any specific enemy. It's thought about to be useful against all kinds of enemies played. So starting with it, we have the Raider squad, as we said in Patrick's favorites. So the Raider squad
Yeah.
joined by an elite Raider, but
Yeah.
I chose the Raider squad leader to have a heavy chainsaw sword, which has 6 attacks AP1 to bring in additional hits. And the elite Raider itself doesn't have War Chant, but is an archivist with Psychic 1 to bring in some utility in there. That was my thought. Then we have 2 squads of Prime Brothers to give some board presence. No equipment specifically on them. They have their heavy rifles, each 185 points. Then my favorite unit, the Heavy Prime Brothers, all with Grave Heavy Rifles. So each of them 3 attacks AP1. And they are joined by a Prime Master with as a captain with a battle rights, giving them +1 on their shooting rolls, who also has a grave armor to be a bit tougher, and a heavy rifle itself with just 1 attack AP1. Then we have the Hover Squad with 3 Suppressor cannons, and at last some anti-tank option in this way. In this list here, it's the anti-grav tank with a twin laser talon and a twin heavy fusion rifles in the end. So that's 2,000 points on the nose, and I win.
Nice.
So that's
yeah,
actually,
Johannes.
it's like 4 of the favorite units mentioned from us all over. Exactly your favorite units: the Prime Brothers and the Heavy Prime Brothers and the Hover Squad and the Raider Squad. Yeah, only mine are missing.
Yeah, they're just bad.
But so you wrote the list before we talked about the units we like. So it's just it just happens by chance.
Yes.
Yeah. But what do you think about the archivist option for the elite raider instead of taking war chant? So my thought was you put them with ambush in the back line, and you also have the option kind of to put out some more damage, or you can give 2 units -1 shooting, so which kind of saves this unit or other units in your army. So you can give -1 shooting to the Riptide, or how it's called, heavy battle walker of the Tao unit army.
DAO Union.
DAO Union or something like that. So would
Patrick, you
that
go
be an
first.
option for you?
Yeah, because it's my favorite, I have to comment on this. So when I have the Raiders in mind, I want something reliable. They drop in with ambush, they charge, and they do their shits. But for Psychic, I still have the problem that it's not very reliable. You have to roll a dice again, and even the easy spells you have to roll 3 up. So it's not super reliable. And I think the War Chant option gives you reliably more damage output. Also, I would change the heavy chainsaw sword for the Raider squad to an energy fist just to get more punch out of the fearless rule, which means +1 attack, and maybe 2 more hits because of the war chant rule. But anyways, I'm very happy that you chose them for your list. And yeah, I think Psychic, if it works, if your Psychic rolls work, they can do some utility. So yeah, I'm less agreeing with the heavy chainsaw sword than I'm agreeing with the archivist.
Okay.
So
So
yeah,
for me, it's with the war chant, definitely I would go with the energy fist. But I think without the war chant, I think the 6 attacks, because of only hitting on 4+, you have to think about no war chant and only 3 or 4 attacks on a 4+ with AP4. Then I take the 7 attacks with AP1. That was my idea. So you have reliably more hits.
also depends on the target which
Of
you
course.
want to charge. When I put a
Of
lot
course.
of AP4 attacks, I want to charge defense, strong defense
Yeah.
unit. But there you're spreading out. Like you have 12 close combat weapons with no AP, 6 hits with AP1, and 5 AP4 hits. So what are you going to charge with them? So it's
So
an around
it's
offense.
a bit all around
Yeah.
option, but the idea is generally that I would prefer to pick infantry targets that could be either you attack through a lot of attacks or have the elite attacks for elite units, or you can also kind of charge a vehicle which can't really hit hard back, but you have options to go through the armor, and you have a lot of attacks where maybe 1 or 2 additional wounds can come through. Not much, but maybe there's an option. And you can kind of also do some additional wounds with psychic terror, where you to take 3 extra hits with AP2, or you can even try cerebral trauma with kind of 2 hits AP4, something like that. That's an option. Or even, yeah, it's a bit more utility, as I said. You can use it shoots worse the next time, which can really hit hard on the current round, or you can curse ground, where you just slow the unit down and it can't get where it needs to. So it gives some options to disturb the enemy additionally. It's not that hard hitting, but my idea was kind of you bring that in, you can damage one unit, you don't wipe it as good as your option, but it still can hit very hard. But additionally, you have the option to really disturb the back line of the enemy, slow them down, let them shoot less, so and bring a benefit to the rest of the
No,
army.
I see your point there. It's just I would go for a very dedicated task, like using energy fists all over and giving them as many attacks as possible
I
to
would agree with Patrick.
maximize the fists.
I would agree with Patrick, and I wouldn't give it psychic. Psychic spells aren't the best, and I would equip it with, like Patrick said.
Okay, but
Okay.
like for the Prime Brothers, I totally agree. 2 squads, 185 points, very solid. It's, yeah, you have to put an effort to shift them. Hover Squad, we already talked about it a lot. I like it. I agree with it. Anti-grav tank, yeah, I like it. I agree with it. The only small thing I have there, Heavy Prime Brothers, I agree. 3 Grave Heavy Rifles, I agree with it. It's great. The only thing I see there is the Prime Master attached to it, because when they're taking wounds, you have to remove the Heavy Prime Brothers first before you remove your hero. But he's, offense wise, the weakest one. He has just 1 heavy rifle shot. So every wound you take on this squad is tough, because you're losing your Grave Heavy Rifles with 3 attacks, AP1 each. And the last man standing is just a guy with 1 attack.
Yeah, that was kind of the thought process about these objectives where you have to kill a hero. That was kind of just to keep that in the background. It's not. It costs quite heavy, so 50 points it is for these 3 wounds additionally. But kind of my thought process, I don't have to really worry about snipers or so. They won't kill him as easy. The idea is kind of deny additional points due to secondaries or something that requires death of a hero, because also the heavy battle brothers are okay from their toughness, but it's also not the toughest units, and we know the difficulties with a heavy infantry squad, that they are quite vulnerable to deadly 3 weapons as well as blast 3.
Yeah. Also, you can't really give him a better weapon. This is just a problem with the heroes right now, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's, and yeah, you can think about taking the sniper, but it all costs points. So
yeah.
May I ask why you gave him battle rights instead of precision shots? I think
5 points. I
Yeah,
wasn't
but
able to
couldn't you?
cut anywhere else, and
Okay.
from my thought process, and it was difficulty. AP2 has its value. I completely agree, but to be honest, hitting on 2+ is also very, very good. And AP2 also doesn't help. It's better through tanks, but it's also not that reliable to go through defense 2+. And maybe it's better to have more reliable hits. That was my thought. This unit is leaning a bit more towards anti-infantry than the AP2 option, which has the option to also hurt vehicles a bit better. So that's my thought process.
I have a solution for you when you're lacking points. On the Elite Raider, you could drop your Archivist, which costs 25 points, and just take Judge for 10 points, so you have 15 points spare. Just saying.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, I will show you how the Archivist will destroy you all. No, but in my composition, that was what's kind of mostly disturbing me in this list, to be honest, is there's not much anti-tank really. There's this anti-grav tank, which has the heavy fusion rifle, but it's only 18-inch range, which hurts a lot. There's also, of course, the option to switch the twin Talon cannon, which is 6 shots AP3, I think.
Yes.
To laser cannons, which would be then 30-inch range, 2 attacks, deadly 3 AP3. So the normal laser cannon, but it wasn't 70 points. It was, I think, something like 25 points. So it would be an option to switch that, but I think the laser Talon itself can also hurt vehicles, but also give the options against multi-model units.
Yeah. Also, your anti-grav tank is fast and has Strider, so you have no problem to advance this to get into range with your 2 heavy fusion rifles.
And
also,
tough 15.
Tough 15, so you can rely on it being bringing some stability there. Also, if your radar squads just had a lot of energy fist attacks, you could also do something against vehicles.
No, but it's definitely an option. It is something, and I completely get your point, and I think it's maybe it's a stronger option, but I would like to test the other one too. But I think the Archivist can bring some.
No, I'm just joking here.
No, it's a point worth discussing. So
no, but I think you don't have not enough anti-tank. The good thing about this list is you can use a lot of weapons just to scratch off 1 wound or 2 and force maybe a vehicle into pinned. Even the hover squad with I think at least 10 shots AP2 could hurt a transporter.
I personally would drop maybe the heavy Prime Brothers and add an eradication squad or something like this, just to have more anti-vehicle and anti-elite stuff.
But how to deliver them? They have not the best range. They have just 18 inches.
That's true. They don't have the best, but you can give them a heavy fusion rifle for 18 inches. It's very expensive, but they not necessarily need the deliver mechanic, because they have 12-inch range. They advance 6-inch, so they have 18-inch effective range against vehicles. And maybe it's wouldn't be the best idea, the eradication squad, but I'm not really seeing the best use there of the heavy Prime Brothers squad. But it's maybe personal taste. Like you said, you like the heavy Prime Brothers as your favorite unit. I don't really like them that much. Just for the aesthetic, they're looking good. So it's a personal taste, maybe, that I would have used other units instead. But I still think you're lacking anti-vehicle stuff or something with deadly. I would maybe drop a unit, Prime Brothers or something like this, to just add in some more deadly.
Yeah, it's more than just a unit of Prime Brothers to add in more deadly.
Yeah, it's just one of
you have to think about that and about the activations. It's already kind of at the lower bottom just to have 6 activations. That's kind of brings in one of the negative aspects of the Prime Brothers. You could have 10 activations, and with Human Defense Wars, I would probably have about 8 to 9
8
at
or
least.
9.
I think,
And with this, you only have 6, so you have to think about that.
yeah, maybe find some points to squeeze in a Prime ATV. It's not the best looking model, but for 255 points, you get a heavy fusion rifle with fast, so you can really get him into, and scout. Scout, fast, toughness 6, so you're getting him into position to get off a very deadly 6 shot.
Yeah, it's an option.
It's definitely an option, but yeah, you have to make cuts again.
Yeah, of course, you have to make cuts. That's what I said. I probably would have cut something, maybe the heavy Prime Brothers for the Prime ATV, just for an additional.
Yeah, that
Deadly
could be an option, definitely.
But overall, it's a nice all-round list, and maybe we should make a match against this.
Yeah, maybe we should actually play this list. Yeah.
Do you think we have our first faction focus covered for today?
We could go much deeper, like investing every unit, but that would it would be way too long to get over every unit. And if some people have specific questions, what we think about a specific unit from the Prime Brothers, we can give our opinion, of course, but covering every unit is like a way too long task for one episode of the podcast.
Yeah, especially, I mean, you could totally go overboard factoring in even all the detachments, which gives special rules too, which makes individual units more usable, less usable. So maybe depending on our viewers' comments, we could dig into something even more. But for now, I think we covered it pretty good.
Yes.
Okay.
So
it was fun again talking to you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Engin, for the list.
And let's see what the comments are. We are happy to get as much comments as possible. And
yes,
Johannes, it's your part now.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell for notification.
Yeah, thank you. And consider donating us maybe a coffee or two. Johannes seems to be very needy for energy drinks right now.
Exactly. So if you like this kind of format for the faction focus, let us know.
Yeah,
and
we could continue.
We can then go through the other factions.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.